I felt compelled to make a video about how I feel about the news following a conversation that I had with a woman in a house that I was working in the other day. And so this woman began sharing with me some information that she had learned about events that were taking place in Eastern Europe right now. It's all over the news, and it's pretty hard to avoid because people are talking about it and people are concerned. And so what I said to her was just that, like, the news, you can choose to pay attention to it. But for me, it's like there's nothing that I can do about it. And therefore, in not doing that, I choose to focus my energy on things that I can act upon, that is a little bit more relevant to my life and where I'm at in the world as a person, in society. And it's like, I just choose not to give my energy to things that are disturbing, which I don't feel inspired to act upon. And so that is certainly one of the reasons why I stay away from that. And there's a whole bunch more. So that's why I'm making a video. I said, or I don't know if I said it, but like, I haven't had a TV for 20 years. I don't watch the news. Every time I turn it on, something inside of me says, turn that off, look away, get out of there. It's not for you. Don't do it. I'm in touch with my intuition. I listen to it. I don't think there's a point even having an intuition if you're not going to listen to it. So some things about the news. Back in the day, the news was this thing where you would like get a paper, but it was about stuff that had happened a little while ago, whether it was a week or a month, but it wasn't like it is now where you can turn on this thing and this is what's happening right here, right now. And it's like there's this sense of urgency about it all. So it's a very high energy, fast paced kind of thing. So that's, one of the things about it. Another one is life is like a dream where the only thing that is fundamental is the experience, but the mechanics behind what's going on is a little bit more complex than what it looks like on the surface. It's not just like there's this one world where we're all kind of just going through having different experiences of it. It is slightly more complex than that. And so to turn on a program and then to subject yourself to what is on there, it can really influence you and your opinion and your outlook on the world. And then you can form beliefs and feelings that go along with this understanding that you think that you have because you have received information from what you deem to be a credible institution. And so I think of it as kind of like spiritual suicide, because you are essentially buying into a story that is not your own. You're not piecing your own story. You're essentially piggybacking or just buying into another kind of reality. And so there is a little saying. So this guy goes up to the teacher, the master kind of guy, and says, I look out in the world today and it's like, it seems so bad, is this world beyond saving? And he says, the master says, if you think that it's beyond saving, then it is. If you think that it needs saving, then it does. But if you understand that everything happens in perfect timing and there's a reason and an evolution to it, and you just focus on the things that you can do, what you're inspired to do, and be that change that you want to see in the world, that's all you need to do. And the people who can deal with the other stuff, they will deal with that. So yeah, and then that's an important point for me, is to not discount the spiritual side of things. It's essentially what I'm doing with this whole YouTube channel, is that I don't hear a whole lot of people who are taking that kind of thing into account, the whole spiritual thing, because I tell you something, I'm pretty sure it's like 85% of the population has faith in something other than just like that there's just this basic reality where we just kind of like on a rock in space and that's all that is, and then you die, and then this is not what any of the smartest people who have graced the planet have said. None of them. So And so, yeah, the spiritual stuff, and like, I like to be informed. I really do. I do not wish to have my head in the sand, or to be misinformed, or just like not, it doesn't do anything. I feel that the more that you have a reference point, the more that you can avoid having the wool pulled over your eyes, because you say, oh, no, 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 that doesn't make sense for this and this and this reason. So it's just like, it is very important to be well-informed, critical thinking, that kind of stuff, to have your algorithm right. And so it is important to be informed, but like when you go and watch the news or something like that, you're essentially, it's like searching, there is some thing to learn there. There is some truth in the world, but a lot of it is very biased, and it's like searching for a needle in a haystack. It's, in my opinion, it's just not worth it because of the biased opinions. And then and there's censorship which takes place. Like, they don't cover on certain news stations, big ones, they don't cover things like the trucker convoy, or like things that happen with like Indigenous people and other travesties which are taking place in the world. And it's like, you would think that it is their job to report on this stuff, yet somehow it is escaping their radar. They're failing to report on certain key issues. So what does that tell you? And so then on the other side of the censorship, we have propaganda. There are certain views which are pushed, certain concepts, certain ideas. What is it? There's a thing I call the bastardization of ideas, where they take like a certain idea and portray it in a certain way, so that you then, watching that, end up forming a kind of opinion, of thinking that you have the first idea about what that thing is, when you've just been fed something kind of convincing. So yeah, and then there's people on the news and on television who are out to lunch, but some of the time they know it, hence with the propaganda and whatever kind of a bias that they're pushing, the kind of a what is it, if they have some kind of an investment, that's where people start having, like, they cater what they say. And then there's some people who are just not playing with a full deck of cards. They just don't realize, and they're just kind of, it's tough. You can't expect everybody to just understand everything, but at the same time, it's like, if you are in these shows which are supposedly informing people, and if they're doing something other than that, it's thin ice as far as I'm concerned. But it's okay, because it will, they say there's three things that you can't hide for long. There's the sun, the moon, and the truth. The truth always comes out. Sometimes it takes time, but you can count on that. So I also don't appreciate all of the advertisements being constantly shoved in my face. And there's these images, there's more than just what they're selling, because there's concepts and things like that are wrapped up, that you don't realize, that is kind of, that you're taking in without realizing it. And it can, and it's not healthy, like about things that are funny, things that are, it's like, that's not funny and that's not acceptable. Stereotypes, I guess, is the word that I'm looking for. So I really don't appreciate that. There's like sex sells, and so that is a thing with the television and the news and with commercials, and that it's just in your face. It's unhealthy to be exposed to that. So I choose not to, and I don't blame anybody for them doing that. They're doing that. They're slitting their own throats. That kind of stuff will be recognized for what it is, and will be will be pushed to the side by those who can see through it and be like, yeah, no, not anymore. I don't think so. What else is there? There's the advertisements. It's just the energy of it, how it's so fast paced and like drama. Everything's dramatized, shock value. They come at you. Everything's like a matter of a fact. And then there's individuals who come on there who are portrayed as if they know what they're talking about when they really don't, but because they have a couple of letters behind their name or whatever, like you get this idea like, you know, that they should be trusted. And it's, you know, some of these people are feeding like half truths and whole lies with just a little bit of reality to make it believable. And so how do I stay informed? I stay in touch with science. I get emails and things like that. I study science and I go places. I travel throughout the world if I want to know something. So my camera's going to overheat, but that's what I'm going to leave you with. It's everything I have to say. And yeah, just buyer beware what you allow yourself to be exposed to.